Parents can look forward to an easier process for applying to charter schools in Boston. To explain how it works is our guest from the Massachusetts Charter Public School Association, the Director of Strategic Projects for the Boston Charter Alliance, Mary Tamer. Thank you very much for being with us, Mary.
Thank you for having me.
This process has already started, and tell me, how is it catching on with people?
Well, I think we've been a little surprised, Chris, at how well it's catching on, because right now it's really being shared by word of mouth. The Boston Globe did an article the day before we launched, and so that was October 31st, Halloween. There was an article in the Globe mentioning that there was going to be a common application for families to use an online, very easy system to apply to multiple charter schools for multiple children at once. We launched Tuesday morning. The first application came in around 4 a.m. and it's kind of been off to the races since then. By Friday afternoon, we were over 1,500 applications from about 350 families. And as of a short while ago, I think we're over about 2,300 applications from nearly 700 families.
Well, one of the first things you do with this new process is you make it clear up front which schools have seats available. So explain how you do that.
Sure. So what we've created actually two websites to help families. So one is a school chooser website. So if a family enters the URL, it's choosebostoncharterschools.org. They can say, I'm looking for a K2 seat, and enter their address, and then all of their choices will come up on a screen, and then the family can then click on those different choices, learn a little bit about the school, and all of those individual pages actually link back to our common application. And so if a family gets the information they need, they can also visit the individual school websites, which are all linked from the School Chooser page as well. They can go to our common application, and they literally just have to enter either an email address or a cell phone number. They go into the application, and again, when they enter their child's grade, if they say, I'm seeking a K2 seat, all of their choices will come up, and the family can click all of the choices that come up, or if they are really targeted on one school, they can just click that one school. It's at their discretion. And then their application is entered into the system, and the data is sent to all of the charter schools every night.
Well, one clear advantage is it seems you don't have to write the same information, the names, the addresses, all over again for every single school.
Yeah, absolutely true. And so one of the things we realized is, when we looked, when we were looking at all of our schools and how families were engaging with those schools through applications, there were some folks that were still doing paper applications. Some of our schools had already transitioned to online applications, and some schools were doing both. And so a common application really allowed us to completely simplify the process for families. And so instead of having to, if you find that you're interested in 8 schools, instead of having to do different processes for all of those 8 schools, a family can just, as you said, it's your name, your address, the grade that you're looking for, and if you're interested in all of the 8 schools that come up for your child's grade, you just check those boxes and it gets submitted to those schools.
Now, some of these parents will face the same dilemma, I guess, that might have been faced with applying to district schools, is that maybe you're interested in one school, maybe 5, and how do you rank things? I mean, how do you game the system to get what you really want?
Well, there's no gaming, so right. Just to make that clear, it really is, if a family truly has their heart set on one school in particular, that is their option to apply to that one school. It really is at the discretion of the family. This is all about choice and embracing choice, but also trying to embrace simplicity, because I think that whether you're applying on the district side or the charter side, I think that families really have to go through quite a bit to ensure that their children are, entered into all of these different systems. And so I think that, from our perspective, to be able to create this one system for charter schools is an incredibly family-friendly thing when families have very limited time, and it is a cumbersome process if you're filling out 8 different paper applications. And so that was really the onus for us, embarking on this work.
We're talking with Mary Tamer from the Mass Charter Public School Association. Now, one thing we should note that charter schools are not all exactly all look alike.
True.
They have very different programs, leaderships, and styles. And if people want to dive into that, what's the best way to find information?
So our apply website is applybostoncharterschools.org. Our chooser website is choosebostoncharterschools.org. So if someone enters that URL, they will automatically be brought to this site where they can see all of the choices that are available to them, again, depending on their child's grade. And so whether they're looking for a kindergarten 1 seat, a K2 seat, or a 9th grade seat, they can enter that information, and then the computer will populate a list for them, and then they can choose to click on, let's say Codman Academy comes up. They click on Codman Academy. They see all the grades that are available at Codman. They see all of the programming that they have, and then they can actually go directly to the Codman website and do an even deeper dive into the information about that particular school. And that's true for all of our schools, because the Chooser site, I would say, gives families a snapshot of their options, including grade configurations, the location of the schools. Our schools are all over the city, but then they can also go directly to that individual school's website and get far more information about specific programming, what makes that school different from another school. It's a real opportunity for families to get as much information as they want.
And I'm going to ask you just one more time, those two websites that parents can check out.
Sure. So for the application itself, it's applybostoncharterschools.org. And for the School Chooser website to get more information on the schools, it is choosebostoncharterschools.org.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you.
Mary Tamer from the Mass Charter Public School Association. We'll have more news in just a moment.